Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to City Hall. Today is February 18th, 2025, for the Hayward City Council meeting. Meeting is adjourned. Convened. Did I say adjourned? So we may all go now. Meeting is convened. It's a big difference between convening and adjourning. First, I'd like to apologize for being late. We had a lengthy closed session. We had a lot of items on the agenda, and so I appreciate all of you hanging in there for us. I really do. So with that said, Madam City Clerk, if you can please, Councilmember Andrews, if you can do the Pledge of Allegiance first.
Please stand if you're able to.
Thank you. And Madam City Clerk, if you can please take the roll.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Councilmember Andrews.
Present.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Present.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Here.
Councilmember Roach.
Present.
Councilmember Syrup.
Present.
Councilmember Cermeño. Mayor Salinas.
Present. Next, I'd like to have our closed session announcement by our City Attorney, Mr. Lawson.
Mayor, I'll make a report on the first two items, and that's with respect to pending litigation the council discussed. The case of Olvera versus City of Hayward. Council agreed to contribute $275,000 towards a personal injury lawsuit, with the co-defendant contributing $575,000 to the lawsuit. That was approved unanimously. The council discussed the case of Ghali versus City of Hayward, took no reportable action. Mayor, I'll defer to you on items 3 and 4.
On items 3 and 4, no action were taken. Thank you. Our next item is we have a special presentation. Tonight we are acknowledging Black History Month, and I do have a proclamation, and we also have groups here this evening who will be receiving the proclamation for Black History. Just to call them out, and what I'll do is I'll read the proclamation, and then we'll all convene at the front here at the, and then we'll take a picture, and then everyone could have a few words. Representing the Hayward South Alameda County National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is Rahima Walker and Philip Oliver. Are they here? Thank you. Urban League of Greater San Francisco Bay Area is Kenneth Maxey. Is Kenneth here? Mr. Maxey. Is Mr. Maxey here? That's all right. You can still give him applause. Mr. Maxey is he's a good guy. And then Treasures Unleashed and Nonprofit Hidden Jewels Unleashed, Dorothy Dominique. Is Dorothy Dominique here? Yeah? All right. The Hayward South County chapter of BWAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action, Raquel Johnson. Welcome, Raquel. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Hayward Tri-City Chapter, Lonnie Taylor. Where's Lonnie Taylor? Right. Last year, I think I got it wrong. Did I say it right this year? And then Hayward Unified School District Equity and Anti-Bias, Anti-Racism programs. We have from the HUSD Equity, Anti-Bias, Racism anti-bias and anti-racism programs. It's the Administrator of Special Assignment for Equity and Anti-Racism, Dr. Candace Cofield. Dr. Cofield. Dr. Cofield, you got to work on that title. We got to shorten that title. And of course, from the Hayward Public Library, our Deputy Director of Library Services, Lindsay Vien, is here. And from California State University East Bay, from the Black Excellence Project, Professor Stephen Cleveland is here. Where's there? And then from Zeta Phi Beta, Dr. Anita Clark. Dr. Anita Clark. All right. Please. And I hope, Dr. Clark, I hope I said that. She's actually not. Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you know, you look like a doctor. How about that? I was like that. I just promoted you. Okay. Okay, so let me read the proclamation, and I'll have Dr. Andrews. I just promoted Dr. Andrews. I'm promoting everyone tonight. Whereas Black History Month started in 1926 as a week-long celebration that was expanded to a full month in 1976 to highlight African-American culture, contributions, and resilience. And whereas the theme for Black History Month 2025 is African Americans and labor, which honors the strong impact of the Black workforce in all part of American society, both past and present. And whereas the Hayward Public Library, in recognizing Black History Month with a series of cultural events, including a Black Voices in Opera program, an African Thumb piano performance, a documentary screening, and author talk, and more. Whereas the City of Hayward celebrates our many community partners who are committed to supporting the lives and livelihood of Black and African American people in Hayward, and whereas the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, Hayward South Alameda County branch was established in 1950 to profoundly serve Hayward and several surrounding cities. And the NAACP's principal objective is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of minority citizens of the United States, and to eliminate racism and prejudice. And whereas the Treasures Unleashed empowers youth with creative arts programs and unifies communities through events in Hayward, this led to the development of the nonprofit Hidden Jewels Unleashed, which provides free creative arts programming for youth in Hayward. And whereas the Hayward Unified School District Teaching for Black Lives professional learning community is a collective of educators committed to embedding Black history into curriculum and fostering equity in the classroom, and the Hayward Unified School District Student Leaders for Equity and Anti-Racism are a group of student advocates working to create inclusive school environments by addressing racial inequities, promoting anti-racist practices, and amplifying marginalized voices. And whereas anti-bias, anti-racist influencers of the Hayward Unified School District are a network of educators and leaders dedicated to dismantling bias and racism within the district through professional learning, student and family advocacy, and community engagement. And whereas the Black Excellence Project is committed to using media to empower youth and capture Black student stories, including through partnerships with Hayward Promise Neighborhoods, the California State University Office of the Chancellor, CSU, East Bay, and Chabot College. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 13, 1913 at Howard University on the principles of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. The Hayward Tri-City Alumni Chapter was chartered in 1990 and proudly serves Hayward and nearby cities with community service, scholarships, and social action programs. And whereas Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 16, 1920 at Howard University on the principles of scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood, the Iota Delta Zeta chapter has been serving the city of Hayward for 45 years through the Zeta Youth Group Mentorship Program for girls, partnerships with collective chapters at CSU East Bay and the University of California at Santa Cruz. Their signature program, Zeta, is helping other people excel, also referred to as Z-Hope. And whereas the Hayward South County chapter of Black Women Organized for Political Action, BWOPA, is committed to civic engagement, social justice, and community empowerment. BWOPA will be celebrating Black History Month with both a screening of The Apology, a feature-length documentary that investigates the 1960s dismantling of Russell City, and through collaboration on a Black History panel hosted by the Castro Valley High School's Black Student Union. And whereas the Urban League of Greater San Francisco Bay Area empowers Bay Area African American and underserved communities to achieve their highest true social parity, economic self-reliance, power, and civil rights. The League promotes economic empowerment through education, job training, housing, community and workforce development, leadership programs, entrepreneurship, health, and more. And now, therefore, I, Mark Salinas, Mayor of the City of Hayward, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim February 2025 as Black History Month. Congratulations. And also, I wanted to acknowledge, we happen to have here in the audience a young man from Stonebray Elementary School, Legend Gabriel. Where's Legend Gabriel? Who is, and please excuse me for missing the exact title, but you are the West Coast's weightlifting champion here at Stonebray Elementary School. So this guy outlifts anyone else in the western region of the United States. So, congratulations. Okay, let's Are they set up, ready to go? Okay, as we work our way back up to the dais, I did want to acknowledge I do see her in the chamber, sitting quietly and kind of undercover. Dr. Wong from Cal State University East Bay, the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion over there, Dr. Wong. And of course, Vice President of the Hayward School Board, Sarah Prada, just walked into the chamber. She's over there. Great. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully not everyone walked out of the chamber. So the first group I'd like to call up is from the NAACP. Rahima Walker, or is Philip Oliver here? Yeah, come on up. Well, actually, no, stand on the other side and just flip yeah, there you go.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate this once again. We thank you very kindly. One thing that's been on our hearts for the last month is the tragedy that happened in south, down south. And I would like to just give 1 minute of silence to really honor those people that have lost everything. Sometimes we don't think about the necessity of the things that we have up here, when we do have them. So, I just want to just be quiet for just 1 minute, and think about, you still got your stuff. Think about that. Amen. Amen, amen. Real briefly, amen. Thank you. I'd just like to give a minute of prayer. Hallelujah. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you. I pray, oh great God, that you be with us on the left hand and on the right hand, Father. I pray, oh great God, that you be with our leaders, Father, and show us what to do, Father. Be our seeing eye and our hearing ear, Father God, forevermore. And if you do these things, oh great God, we will be mindful, Father God, to give you all the glory and to give you all the honor in the name of Jesus Christ. And we plead your blood tonight. Hallelujah, Father. And we thank you and we honor you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Our next speaker is from Treasures Unleashed and Hidden Jewels Unleashed. Is Dorothy Dominique here? Okay. How about Bawapa, Raquel Johnson? Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, esteemed community leaders, and distinguished guests. Good evening, and my name is Raquel Johnson, and I am honored to serve as the president of the Hayward South County chapter of Black Women Organized for Political Action, also known as BWOPA. BWOPA was founded in 1968 with a clear and powerful mission to educate, empower, and uplift Black women in our communities through political action, civic engagement, and leadership development. Our organization stands as a pillar for advocacy, ensuring that our voices are not only heard, but they influence policies shaping our daily lives. Black History Month is a time of celebration, reflection, and a call to action. It is a reminder that political engagement is not just for those in elected office, but for all of us, because policy affects everything we do. As elected officials, you carry the responsibility of ensuring that policies are equitable and reflect the needs of all communities, especially those historically marginalized. As community members, our power lies in our collective voice. Whether through voting, advocacy, or grassroots organizing, we must remain active participants in democracy. And to our students, you are the future. Civic engagement starts now. Learn, ask questions, get involved, because the choices we make today will impact the world you inherit tomorrow. BWOPA is committed to building and sustaining Black political power. We work to ensure that our community is informed, represented, and engaged in every level of decision-making. And so tonight, as we accept this proclamation, let it be more than just words on paper. Let it be a charge to each of us to continue the fight for justice, representation, and opportunity. Thank you, and may we always stand together in the pursuit of equity and progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. From Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Miss Lonnie Taylor.
I've been called. Thank you, Mayor Mark Salinas, council members, administration staff, and to all invited guests. On behalf of the Hayward Tri-City Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, I, Lonnie Taylor, president of the chapter, humbly and graciously accept this proclamation with great honor and appreciation. We are so proud of the city of Hayward, and while our organization was founded 112 years ago on the college campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., this great city has been the home of our chapter for nearly 35 years. We celebrate our charter on March 2nd, making 35 years of sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action within the Hayward and the Tri-City area. We wholeheartedly believe in this community, our community. Hayward Tri-City Alumni is fortified and resolute in our commitment to build and support small businesses, the education of our children, the outreach of community service, both civically and publicly, and to be beacons of hope, change, endurance, and fortitude for others to follow. Receiving this honor during Black History Month sheds a much-needed light upon our lives in this current climate. It holds deep significance, representing more than acknowledging our history during the month of February, but is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering pursuit of freedom. This month reminds us of the sacrifices made by generations of African Americans who tirelessly fought for their rights and dignity. As we celebrate today, we must recognize that our journey towards equity is ongoing. Thank you.
Thank you. And then from Hayward Unified School District, Dr. Cofield.
Good evening, all. I thank you so much. I'm representing the Hayward Unified School District and our focus and commitment to equity and anti-racism, but I'm standing here representing all those who are really doing the real work. My goal and my role is just to support them and set us up for success, but you saw we had a big crowd here. I've lost some of them, but I want to dedicate my remarks to those who are here, by the way, on their vacation week. So that's how dedicated they are. So by them, I mean, for example, our ABAR influencers. So by ABAR, I mean our anti-bias, yes, anti-racist influencers who represent, and those in the room represent even more, but they represent our work and our commitment to doing the self-work to understand racial identity development. And that's how you have to start. You can't just leap into action, right? You have to do that self-work first. They set the ground and built that foundation for us to be able to deliver that message in age-appropriate ways to our students. So for our student leaders of equity and anti-racism, their advisors are here. Please give them a hand as well. And some of those students, again, on their vacation are here. Our Mount Eden Soul Steppers are in the building with us still. Those folks have been able to build the relationships necessary for us to actually be close to our students so we can hear them. And hearing what they need, what their issues are, what their concerns are, has led us to the point where, as a district, we have focused unapologetically all year, not just in February, on addressing anti-Blackness in education. Yes, that deserves a hand. We've taken a bold step to ban the use of the N-word in our schools because our students told us that's what they care about. We figured out how to make that a policy, train all of our staff, and let our students continue to be our leaders as we roll out what implementation is going to look like. And last but not least, we're here to make sure that we lean on the expertise of our teachers for Black Lives. They're also in the building. Yes, they deserve a hand. They continue to let us know what it really looks like, not only to address anti-Blackness, but uplift and affirm positive representation of Blackness in our district. So thank you again for this proclamation, and thank you to the Hayward Unified School District for showing up and showing out tonight.
Thank you. Of course, Deputy Director of our Library Services, Lindsay Vienne.
Good evening, council, staff, community, colleagues. I like to face this direction because I feel like we're supposed to be speaking together here. So my name's Lindsay Vienne, Deputy Director of Library and Community Services, across your way. I'm here on behalf of your library. We are so honored and grateful to be a part of this proclamation. I want you to remember every single day, Hayward Public Library is for the people. It's for the community. We develop all of our programming, all of our displays, all in response to what we're hearing from the community. So I want to remind everybody, we just concluded our 5-year strategic planning session. This is a big deal. We just presented this to council and to the community a few weeks ago. We're getting ready to go into the community and start to educate everybody on our goals for the next 5 years. I want to just remind you, in this process, we revised our mission and we revised our vision. So let me go ahead and read this to you before I outline some of the amazing things that Hayward Public Library is doing in alignment with our partners, our community, and the city. So HPL's mission is to provide diverse programming and resources, support personal and educational growth, inspire creativity, and contribute to health and success of a thriving Hayward. Our vision: a vibrant community hub for lifelong learning, empowerment through information, and strong cultural connection. Hayward is, I think of right now, the second most diverse community in the nation. That's a big deal. Hayward has so much to represent, and we are such a powerful group. We're a large community, but a small village here, and we all work together. So I just want to highlight a few things that Hayward Public Library is doing. We work hand in hand with our community partners daily. All the services that you see provided on a daily basis just don't come because we're imagining them. It's through community partnership. We're developing what the community wants to see to make it feel like they see a piece of themselves and to inspire them to be able to do what they want to do with their futures. We have many multiple book lists for all ages. Again, the library is for everyone. We work hand in hand with Hayward Unified School District. Many of those teachers access many of those amazing lists that our very talented librarians and staff curate with all their heart. Book and media displays on every single floor of that amazing downtown library, which will be at Weeks Branch when we open from our revamp that we're doing in April. A Black History Month scavenger hunt for children. This was a big deal, and it was highly attended by our community and by our children wanting to learn more about our American authors and the history that they've made. We had a Black Voices in Opera program, highly attended. We partnered with the Black Excellence Project, Mr. Stephen Cleveland in the back there. We showcased a documentary, Gifted Hands, the Ben Carson story. We have family fun through art. We have performances. We have online author talks. We are trying to hit all of the community members, no matter what your age, what your race, what your background, what your culture is. We're here to serve all. So I just want to celebrate everybody in this room tonight. It's a big deal when you come out, like it was said, during your break from school and on your evening after a long day of work. So we're all in this together, and we're here to make Hayward a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Professor Stephen Cleveland.
Thank you all. It's such an honor to be recognized by the mayor and the council staff here in Hayward, which is a very special place to me. My youngest went to Stonebray, my eldest graduated from Hayward High, so I'm a proud Hayward dad. The first place I ever went to a college campus was Cal State Hayward, where I saw Black excellence in the person of Black faculty and students. It inspired me to go on to UCLA, where I was able to be bathed in Black excellence, like my good friend Carissa Kirk, who's an orthopedic surgeon in her spare time. So I have a lot of wonderful, wonderful Black excellence all around me. In 2006, I was fortunate enough to be able to come to the Ethnic Studies Department at Cal State Hayward, where I shared a room with some guy named Mark Salinas. Please don't hold that against me. But today, that has inspired the work that you can see on our website, or on our social media site, where we're featuring Chabot's Black programs that they're doing, the programs that are assets to Black student success. We were able to partner with the library on the 15th to have a wonderful celebration of Black voices, thinking about Black love, and holding space for Black joy. I think that is the proudest work that I'm able to do, in particular in collaboration with Cal State East Bay's College of Science, partnering with the Pinckney Foundation, partnering with our HUSD site partners at Cesar Chavez and at Tennyson to offer a near-peer project that's focused on a STEAM course that we call the Math of Golf. So that work we're going to be doing as a project over the summer. But all of this has been my great pleasure to serve this community, and I thank you very much for including me with these wonderful people here. Boapa, Linda, Lillian Litzy, when she started at at Hayward High, I was there. And so it's just so inspiring to be included with the likes of those wonderful folks. Thank you.
Thank you. And then our next speaker is a representative from Zeta Phi Beta.
All right, good evening.
First, I would like to thank the mayor and the city council for the proclamation. It's humbling to be acknowledged for doing the work that we are called to do. As it was said, we were founded on January 16th, 1920 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, District of Columbia, but for 45 years, we have proudly served this community in Hayward. We will continue staying up even when not called, and continue to walk this legacy of sisterhood, service, scholarship, and finer womanhood forward. We'll be continuing our Black History Month celebration with the African American Read-In at Burbank Elementary. And we look forward to the continued partnership within the city, including any new organizations we can put our heads and arms together to continue fighting the good fight. You're able to find us on Instagram at Iota Delta Zeta. Thank you again for the proclamation and for the time.
Thank you. Thank you. And to conclude this, let's give all of our recipients and all of our guests a big round of applause. And just thank you for all of the work you all are doing. It's important work. And, it is good to hear that, two of the oldest Black sororities, some of their longest tenures are here in Hayward. So thank you very much for all of your work you've been doing for such a long time. So thank you very much. So I'd like to close this item and then move on to public comments. Public comments is reserved for anybody in the public that would like to make a comment on something that is on the agenda or not on the agenda. And I do have 3 cards. And let's see, Mehan Prasad. This is on item 8, so I'm going to wait. I don't know where you're at, but I'll wait till item number 8, okay, when you get there. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so let me see if I have anybody online. I do have one name online, so I'll go online first. TJ from Hayward Concerned Citizens. Go right ahead.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, great. This is TJ with HCC, and I just wanted to thank Chuck Finney and the IT team for getting the meeting agenda subscription webpage up and running. So now any community member that can subscribe to receive email notices and agenda links for not only City Council and Planning Commission, but also Community Services, Budget and Finance, Economic Development, Housing Policy and Resource, Council Sustainability Committee, and Council Public Safety Committee. Notice of these meetings is so important for broader civic engagement in our community. So I hope that if you haven't already included an item about this subscription option in the stack newsletter, that you will in the near future. Thank you again.
Thank you. Our first speaker here in the chamber is Carlos Hernandez. I thought I had recognized you.
Yeah. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Just want to talk a little bit about an upcoming concert that we have. So at Chabot, hopefully that works. I've got a flyer here. We're going to be doing an Aretha tribute concert coming up on March 16th, 3 p.m. If you're free, please head on over. We also have a great Beatles tribute concert at the end of the season, June 22nd, off the top of my head. I serve as artistic administrator and music director of the youth orchestra at the Bayfield. So we hope to continue to serve this community, and we hope to see you there. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Akeem Brown.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and all you honorable council members. My name is Akeem Brown. I'm coming here on behalf of Associated Students Incorporated at Cal State East Bay. When I was put in the office, I was tasked with looking after the regular housing folks, but then Greek life. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know you'd have so many Greek people here today. But I'm not here for the proclamation. What I'm here is to raise awareness to what is being seen as a ban on Greek housing housing in the city of Hayward. I'm not sure when it happened, how it happened, or the full details, but I wanted to do is just open up a discussion and ask for collaboration so we can first get answers for the Greek life folks and then figure out a way where those Greek folks can do their Greek thing here in the city of Hayward. From my position, it's definitely an economic opportunity. As you've heard, 40 plus years in the city, contributing, probably paying taxes, kids at different schools. And so I think it'll be a great opportunity for this council, this administration, to take a look at that and see how we can support bringing back that vibrant Greek life that was once here at Cal State Hayward, now Cal State East Bay. And thank you for the time.
Thank you. And I did get your card earlier, and I have forwarded to staff, so somebody will be getting back to you. Thank you, sir. Okay. I don't see anybody else online, and I don't have any more cards. So, no, and yeah, item number 8 will come up. Item number 8 will shortly come up. So grab a card in the back, one of the yellow cards, fill it out, and there's plenty where you can even have a front row seat to this. Okay, next we have our city manager's comments.
No comments tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Moving right along, we have our consent calendar, items 1 through 7. I did not get any requests to pull anything, so if there is no
Move the item.
moved by Councilmember Andrews, seconded by Councilmember Goldstein, and if there are no objections, it will unanimously pass, Madam City Clerk. So.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and for the record, no public comment on
And
the
there is
items.
no public comment.
Thank you.
There is no public comment, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is item number 8, and it is PH 25-002. It is the utility rate adjustments. Adopt resolutions amending the master fee schedule and approving the proposed fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 sewer rates and fiscal year 2026 and fiscal year 2027 connection fees, and finding the actions are exempt from CEQA review. And I believe the director who will kick this off is our Public Works Director, Mr. Amiri.
Yes. Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My team and I are pleased to be here this evening to present the result of a study related to setting of the new sewer rates and the sewer connection fees. We are also going to present the community outreach efforts and the feedback that we have received on this matter. The resulting rates, which require multi-year high rate increases, have been heavily influenced by what I call the 800-pound gorilla, which is the San Francisco Water Board's adoption of a new watershed permit last July, which for the first time orders wastewater agencies to design and construct improvements to reduce the amount of nutrients that are present in our treated wastewater. As you will hear shortly, the resulting project for Hayward is by far the most expensive project in the history
Mr. Amiri,
of the
I
city.
apologize for interrupting you, but on our screen, we don't see the PowerPoint.
You're going to see it momentarily.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize.
No problem, sir. I now turn this over to Nancy Fan with Water Resources Economics, who has the PowerPoint presentation with her, and Trang Nguyen, Management Analyst with Public Works and Utilities, to make the presentation. Thank you. Nancy?
Thank you so much, Alex, and good evening, Mayor, council members, and the public. My name is Nancy Fan, and I am a principal consultant at Water Resources Economics. And since last July, we have been assisting the city with a sewer rate and connection fees study. And these two components, I want to stress that are separate but related. And the way to think about and differentiate the two are that sewer rates are for the parts of the sewer system that are used by current customers, and sewer connection fees are for the parts of the system that are available to and or might be available to for use by future customers. So current customers pay the sewer rates, and future customers, in order to connect to the system, will pay the sewer connection fees. Both rates and connection fees work in tandem to ensure that the city recovers the costs in the most equitable manner possible. So for the sewer rate study, the first step is to develop a long-term financial plan in which we determine the revenue needs that the sewer system needs to maintain the financial sufficiency and the financial health of the sewer enterprise fund. And the second step is called a cost of service analysis. This is a technical process where we allocate the cost of the sewer system among the different customers based on how they use the system. And the relationship between how customers use the system and then what they're eventually charged is called a nexus, which is a critical requirement of Proposition 218, which governs sewer rates. And finally, we combine the results of the financial plan and the cost of service to determine the proposed 5-year rate schedule for Hayward sewer rates. On the other hand, for sewer connection fees, we determine the value of the current system and any future improvements to the sewer system that are used to serve growth. And the guiding principle behind connection fees is what we call growth pays for growth. And what this means is that current customers are not unduly impacted for costs that benefit future customers, and that all customers pay their fair share for investments into the system. And this is particularly important for the study because the city has some large planned capital investment over the next couple of years, which Trang will cover.
Great, thank you, Nancy. And good evening, everyone. As Nancy had mentioned, in the next few years, the city will be expanding the water resource recovery facility, which is one of the major financial drivers for the sewer rate increases. And as Alex had mentioned, last July, the third nutrient watershed permit was adopted by the San Francisco Regional Water Quality Control Board, requiring 40 wastewater treatment facilities, including Hayward's water resource recovery facility, to reduce nutrients by 53% by 2034. To comply with the requirement, the City of Hayward will be expanding the wastewater treatment plant through its WRF Phase 2 project, which is estimated at $488 million. At the time that the city provided this information and data to WRE, no grants or sources of funding was available, and no low-interest financing was available as well. Staff is in the process of applying for the WIFIA loan right now from US EPA, which is at $243 million, and $215 million in revenue bonds in order to fund this $488 million project. And now I will turn it back to Nancy.
Thanks, Trang. As Trang mentioned, the main financial driver of the sewer rate study is the capital costs for projects used to meet regulatory requirements, such as the WRF Phase 2 improvement project, and those to replace aging infrastructure. And as Trang mentioned, the city will issue $458 million of new debt to fund CIP over the next couple of years, which means that the city has to meet debt coverage requirements for this new debt to maintain its financial health. Additionally, a marker of financial health is also a reserve policy. This is about $34 million for the city, and this serves kind of as an emergency fund for the city to meet cash flow requirements and to respond to emergencies in case they happen. And in order to meet debt coverage for new debt and the reserve policy targets, the city has to increase its sewer rate revenues by 12% each year starting in fiscal year 2026. So after we determine the total revenue needs, we can calculate the sewer rates, which includes conducting a cost of service analysis. And the combined effects of the revenue needs from the financial plan and the allocations from the cost of service mean that although it's a 12% increase on average, the final impacts to each type of customer will differ due to the results of the cost of service, which is required by Proposition 218. And so for the first year, standard residential customers will see an 8% increase. Restaurants will see about a 1% increase. And then for all other years, all customers will see a 12% increase across the board in years 2 to 5. Okay. In the next couple of slides, I'll be going over the sewer bill comparisons, where we look at the proposed Hayward rate versus the current rates of other agencies. So on the left side graph, you'll see the comparison of nearby agencies, and the right side graph will be comparison of agencies that also have a nutrient removal project in process. For standard residential, which is shown on these graphs here, they'll be seeing a $3.64 monthly impact, and that represents the maximum charge for single-family residents. Hayward is unique in the sense that it has economy and lifeline rates for sewer based on water usage, and this rate is available to all customers. Based on last year's data, the weighted residential rate is about $35 a month, since 40% of residential customers benefit from the lower economy and lifeline rates based on their water usage. So as you can see in the left side graph, when we compare to nearby agencies, the proposed Hayward rate is in the middle of the range, but when we compare to other agencies with nutrient removal projects, Hayward is on the lower end. Okay, and this slide is for restaurants, and this is for a restaurant using 50 units of water per month. They will see an impact of $4.50 based on the results of the study. Similarly, when we compare to nearby agencies, the proposed rate is in the middle of the range, and when we compare to other agencies with nutrient removal projects, the proposed rate is on the lower end. And these slides compare the proposed Hayward sewer connection fees with the current fees for other agencies. Based on our analysis, the increase to the sewer connection fee is 22%. However, staff has recommended 2 years of 10% increases to the connection fees in order to smooth out impacts. If we see here on the left side again, for nearby agencies, the proposed rate is still in the middle of the range. But when we look at sewer connection fees compared to agencies with nutrient removal projects, the proposed fee is on the upper end, but there are a couple of reasons why this could be the case. Connection fees are not updated as often as sewer rates, so these fees might not have been updated yet or have not included the project costs for these nutrient removal projects, or the agencies haven't started their projects yet. However, the proposed fees are still very comparable to other regional agencies.
And in terms of public outreach, approximately 50,000 notices of the proposed rate adjustments were distributed on December 20th to property owners, tenants, and bill payers. Under Prop 218, we are only required to send to property owners, but we sent an additional 16,000 notices to tenants and to bill payers so that we are fully disclosing and being transparent to everyone. Notices were, council cannot adopt the rates if we receive at least 17,000 protest letters. The deadline to submit the protest letters was on close of business on February 4th. We received 42 written protest notices and 1 after the deadline. And in addition, staff responded to 12 letters with comments related to the Prop 218 process. We also responded to 22 letters indicating financial hardship or fixed income. And included with that notice, we included a low-income discount application for those who qualify for water discount. We also included information regarding the sewer tier rates for those who can benefit from consuming less water. In addition, we included the proposed rates to be published twice in the daily review. And for the proposed connection fee, it is not subject to Prop 218, but to be transparent, we did distribute notices to developers, the Building Industry Association, and the Chamber of Commerce Government Relations Council. Staff also attended a joint meeting with the GRC and the Hayward Chamber of Commerce to present on the proposed rates and connection fees. And today, for the public hearing and schedule, staff is recommending that council adopts the resolutions amending the master fee schedule and approving the proposed sewer rates and connection fees, and finding the action is exempt from SEQA review. And if adopted, the effective dates for the sewer rates is annually from July 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2029. And for the sewer connection fees, it will be effective September 1st, 2025 and September 1st, 2026. And for today's schedule, we will take council's questions, then open to the public hearing and council discussion and action.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Before I go to public comment, I'll come first to council and see if there are any questions. And let me see. I don't see the. Let me first ask up here. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask, because obviously to the customers in the city, this is a shocking increase. And so I just want to know from our director, like what we did as a city to advocate for our customers against the regional water board's request that we do this. It's an obvious hardship for us and all the neighboring cities, and I'm wondering what was done to sort of advocate for our customers.
Thank you for the question. We did all that we could, not only individually, but also through JPA and other associations that we are a member of, including the East Bay Discharges Authority that Councilmember Andrews is city representative, and also the Clean Water Agencies, which is an association of the wider Bay Area agencies. We went to the water board meetings, testified, told them that this is a huge impact on us, very, very costly. Their response was that doing nothing is going to be more costly. So that was the response that we received. Unfortunately, there is no funding, federal funding or state funding, that can be available for this either. We are forced to borrow money at market rate. Even the WIFIA funding, which is US EPA funding, is at market rate. So we have no other option. When we went to the state to ask for low interest rate, the response was that they have run out of money. There is not going to be any monies available. Our back is against the wall, and this is what it is. It makes me feel very, very uncomfortable to come before you and ask for this kind of rate increase. I can tell you, however, that we have not done a good job as staff to tell you that while we say that our sewer rate is $44, actually what our residential customers pay in Hayward, as you were told, is about an average of $35 a month. This past year, when we have more available information, that rate dropped to $33 a month. So compare that to anything that any other agency charges, we are on the low side.
Okay, thank you so much for detailing that, because I know it's been a concern from the staff level as well. And I also just wanted to be clear and ask you the question that Hayward will not benefit from this other than having to build the infrastructure to meet the new rule requirement by the regional water board, right, to reduce by 53%.
Correct. We had a plan for a phase 2 improvement. We had done phase 1 in 2008. This was phase 2. It was a much more manageable, smaller project before this new requirement regarding the nutrients kicked in. And as I have said before, we are not the only agency that having to do this. The neighbor to the south, Union Sanitary District, is actually right now constructing a project that is going to cost more than $500 million for them.
All right, thank you for clarifying. I just wanted to be clear to the public that what we've tried to do as a city to advocate against this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Syro.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the report. I know a lot of work has gone into this. It's been presented multiple times to multiple committees, and it's not fun to bring it forward, but it's what we have to do as a city. I understand the need to increase the rates to cover this cost and service the debt associated with it. Do we have a strategy around reducing costs in the long term or normalizing costs after we've serviced that debt and paid for the project?
Great question. Just wanted to mention that unfortunately we have to do the increases of 12% a year for 5 years. But after the first 5 years, the increases are going to be much more normalized. We are anticipating that the rate increases are going to drop to 5% after the first 5 years, and then to 4%. which is normal about what we come before you normally and ask for. For instance, in the past 10 years, our increases have been between 3.5% and 5% a year, except for the last 2 years leading to this, that we upped our rate increases to 7% just to build a little bit of our reserves for now. Otherwise, the increases would have been even more than 12%.
So I'm happy to hear that the rates will start to stabilize after 5 years, but that doesn't indicate a return back to, we're talking about 12%, 12%, 12%, times 5. And then we're talking about increases on top of those. I'm talking about getting closer to what it was when this started in the first place.
So the borrowing that we have here, $480 million, is about 6 times larger than the largest project that we have done in the history of the city of Hayward. For that, the annual payback is going to be about $33 million a year, which is more than the total budget of our sewer system. So that is going to continue for 30 years, and we have to be paying back all these funds. So unfortunately, the rates are not going to drop, but the increases to them are going to be moderated.
And so after 30 years, it sounds like that's when we would be able to revisit a conversation around reducing our sewer rates. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. I'll come before you and have that conversation.
Okay. I'm hoping we're both still here.
They'll come before you, Councilmember Syro. Okay, Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you. I just had 2 quick clarifying questions. I know this has come before us a few times, but we're still getting kind of questions around what is the cost of not doing this, and what will be the benefit to Hayward residents since we're going to be the ones shouldering the cost. I think those are the 2 questions that I have, because this is obviously an important project. It's an expensive project. We're trying to do what we can do to smooth the price increases, but I guess to the folks out there listening and to the average person in the community, how is this project going to benefit them, and what happens if we didn't do it?
So there are 2 consequences to it. One is that the water board is going to find Hayward in violation of their order and pursue remedies. They could fine us, they could do other things. The other more important problem is that our nutrients in the bay are going to contribute to increase in phytoplanktons, which are going to deplete the oxygen that is in the bay and cause fish kill and other things, like it happened a couple of times 2 years ago, one in Lake Merritt, the other one in San Pablo Bay. So the health of the bay depends on all agencies doing this work.
And it's a regulatory requirement, so we really don't have a choice. We're just trying to find the easiest solution to be able to meet this new requirement.
Absolutely, right. Yes.
It's very complex, but thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff, for the presentation. And just wanted to also reiterate that I do serve on the East Bay Discharges Authority, and it is a member agency of 5 agencies: City of San Leandro, Orloma Sanitary District, Castro Valley Sanitary District, Union Sanitary District, and we have a contract with Livermore Amador Valley Water Management Agency, and it's led by Jackie Zipkin. And just wanted to also reiterate that there has been strong advocacy with different groups of sanitary districts, including Bay Area Clean Water Agency, as well as California Association of Sanitary Agencies, that have done a lot of research and advocacy to the State Water Board. And just wanted to also kind of put it in layman's terms in terms of what we were experiencing in 2022 and 2023. We experienced a red tide, but the nutrient levels, we are reviewing to see if that is impacting why you're seeing the dead fish that are coming up in our shores. And I don't know if you all remember, but it was a distinct odor that was happening in our communities, and the state is responding to those issues, and that is the reason why we are looking at these upgrades. Now, we are reviewing as member agencies whether these requirements need to be this stringent, and we did try to appeal and look at other ways where the member agencies can have a more smoothing out process in responding to those issues, but the states did not rule in that way, and they wanted to be more aggressive in response to what we were seeing in our shores. So, obviously, we care about protecting our bay. We care about making sure that our water is clean before we go out to the bay, and just wanted to reiterate that that's some of the context. So. I don't know if there's any specific questions that I have, but I just wanted to provide further context because I was hearing a lot of jargon and want to make sure the community understood that. But thank you.
As our representative to the discharge board, I gave you a little grace.
Thank you.
Council members Armenio.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, staff, for the good report. I'm missing your normal report as to how much a shower would cost a resident. Normally you tell us that, but not today.
A shower would cost, depending on the length, between 10 cents and 11 cents.
10 to 11 for a 5-minute shower?
Yes.
Okay.
8 minute.
8-minute shower?
Yes.
That's what people ask me. This is going to cost me. So 10 cents for an 8-minute shower.
Right.
Thank you.
I'll bring that information to you when we are going to be talking about the water rates
all right.
soon.
And then a load of washing,
laundry,
et cetera.
yes.
Because that's the kind of information that our residents want. How is it really going to affect me day by day?
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Goldstein.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the report. A couple of questions that I had. My understanding from some conversations that you and I had privately was that there's going to be construction of some physical plant. Correct? And that physical plant is going to be located in the general area where water treatment plant currently resides.
Correct.
Is that correct?
At that location, yes.
Okay. My hope is, and if you could please address this, my concern is issues over earthquake resiliency and seawater rise. Can you address that for me, please?
Yes. So all of our facilities are going to be designed to withstand the credible earthquake at that location. Related to sea level rise, they are going to be constructed at elevations that are going to be higher than the potential for sea level rise during the useful life of the systems that we are going to design and construct there.
Okay, great. Thank you for addressing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. So I'd like to close this portion of the questions, and I'll go to public comment. And I know we have, I have one card, and I don't know if there might be another card out there, but our first public commenter is it Mehan Prasad? Mehan. Yeah. If you can hit the button on the yeah, right there you go.
Mr. Mayor, council members, and the team, thank you for giving me the chance to talk. Just to let you know that I have been in Hayward for 33 years now. I came in '93, and since then I have been here, and I love the city. And I did not come here before because I was working and I had been making good money, and I was able to afford and pay any increases on electricity, water rates, CY, anything. But now that I'm retired, I've got limited financial resources. And the point that I want to make is I cannot stop, I cannot oppose, because Look at the crowd over here. There's no one to oppose. So I'm not opposing. I'm not saying yes. But I would like to point out one thing regarding the sewer rate. My water rate bill is $79, and I'm in total paying $202. My bill comes to water rate. The actual water that I use is $79, and my bill comes to $202. The main reason being the base rate for the sewer is $44 if you use 8 units. As soon as you hit 9, it doubles. So instead of it being charged on a prorated basis, I'm being penalized for using 1 extra unit. So instead of paying $44 and a prorated rate, or maybe $6 extra or $7 extra, I am paying another $44. So going forward, with this all those increases by year 29, when the rate is going to be $79 for the residents, single-family residents, if I use 9 units, I'll be paying $150. Now, where is it going to come from? My Social Security goes up only by $90 or less a year, and I'm being asked to pay $80 extra just because I use 1 extra unit. Now, that is a penalty, not a cost for the water that I used or the sewer rate that I'm supposed to pay. So that must be taken into account, and please do something about it, like paying $44 for 1 unit when I'm paying $40 for 8 units. So that is too much. And my last question is, the financials for the water rates and the sewer, is there any way I can see the revenue and the expenditure, how much revenue came in, where the expenses went to?
We cannot respond to you right now, but what we can do is I do have your card, and we can provide that information with you later.
Yeah, what I would like to do is to see the actual revenue coming in, because as I said, I'm being charged $44 as a base fee. Like me, there are so many other people already paying double the amount just because they have used 1 extra unit. So come year 29, when the rate is going to be like $79 or $80, I'll be paying $160 because I'm using only 1 extra unit.
Your time is up, but thank you very much. And we do have your 2 questions, and we will get back to you. We do have your card, and somebody will get back to you on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Mr. Ramos.
I just took some notes while I was here. And I'm basically making the same point that Mahan Prasad made, is, so I own a small 3-acre ranch in Hayward. So basically, I know there's been increases to the water bill over the past decade. I'd like to ask if I'll leave you my information after Mayor Mark Salinas, and if we could get a response to some of my questions, please, I'd appreciate it. So one of my questions is, how many times has the city of Hayward raised water rates in the past decade? Because I know that there's been several rates already since I've owned my ranch in Hayward. Also, talking about the tiers and stuff, I've called multiple times. So today, I don't know the lady's name that was talking earlier, there's no name tag, but she had made a statement that there's like discounts. I forget if it was Public Works Director Alex Mary or the lady to his right, but they made a statement that there's discounts for like disabled or low-income people. I've called the city of Hayward numerous times the past decade to get a discount. There's no discount. I'm combat wounded disabled. I joined the military at 17 years old. Combat wounded disabled, I've been told there's nothing. I also, like I said, own a small ranch and have animals. I was told that there's no discounts for ranches. So imagine this guy owning a home, going into all these tiers. It's that much more for ranchers. Like, I don't know if any food is any food produced in Hayward, in the city of Hayward. What is that going to do to the cost of food when you've got bills going up in the past decade 50, 60, 70% for water? Like, water and food are basic necessities to life, right? So to raise, I just think it's ridiculous. Last summer, 2024, just to feed I live in a very modest, small, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Prior military and law enforcement, I take a quick 1-2 minute shower. No sprinklers. Actually, in the summer, I had sprinklers working, and then I was using water to feed my animals. I had water bills last summer, $980-something, $860-something, $730. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Me, 16-year-old kid. We take quick showers. We're very. That's just wrong. Yeah. What's that going to do to the? Yeah, I think it's so wrong. I see my time's expired. I'll write you an email, but I would love for you guys to table this and to have more discussions. I'd love to get the information on how to get a discount because, like I said, I've called multiple times. What's that form? How do I get it? I'm sure other people have the same question. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You guys have done a good job, and I also want to compliment Chief Brian Matthews. Since you guys put him in charge, I've seen some great changes with the city of Hayward. I've seen a lot of police officers on the street and in the area, and I think Chief Matthews has done a fantastic job.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And for staffing too. I know I made a funk about staffing. I commend you and the
Mr.
city
Ramos,
council
I'm going to have to cut you off there.
I'll cut you off.
But I appreciate
I'll
it.
catch you next time.
I appreciate it. Yeah, your words were generous, so I could let you keep going.
I'll
But,
write
no,
something.
I'm kidding.
I just saw this and wanted to come in, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna start attending it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate all those comments. Let me see if I have. I have no comments online, so I'd like to close public comments, and I'll come back to council questions. Councilmember Bonilla, Councilmember Bonilla, Councilmember Roach, and then Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. I do appreciate, Director Ameri, all of the transparency that's went into this and all of the extra public outreach that you and your staff have discussed with us. But anytime we're increasing rates at this level, it's always very hard and uncomfortable, especially when we hear from residents like we did today that are on fixed incomes, and everything's getting so expensive already, and this is just one more of those things. So would you be able to discuss a little bit about this fee-based tiering system that we have, and how that proportionally or disproportionately impacts our residents?
I will be happy to. So because Hayward has control over both water, we are a water distributor, and wastewater collection and treatment, we know the amount of water that our residents use. So we have come up with this unique, very beneficial way of saying that while our standard sewer rate is now $44 a month, if you use a moderate amount of water, your rate drops to $22 a month, not $44. And if you use just a little bit of water at the lowest level, your rate drops to $10 a month, not $44. And what one of the gentlemen was talking about earlier is that, when I go over the economy rate, the middle rate, which is $22, my rate doubles to $44. Yes, it doubles, because then you are at a higher rate. We cannot do anything more, be more granular than having 2 rates below the standard, but this is a unique feature of Hayward. On average, residents don't have to do anything other than use less water, and they benefit from this much lower sewer rate.
Thank you. That's a great explanation, and that makes a lot of sense. Where can residents find information about this, discount program, especially, as it relates to low-income, fixed income? And then also, what's the criteria, just so we're kind of clear on that?
It's based on income. The information is online, and those who qualify under PG&E program qualify under our programs. Our programs are related income-wise to the program that PG&E has.
So when we send out a notice to the residents about this increase, can we maybe add something about where they can, I think you guys already said that when you sent out the notice, you already added some information about where residents can find these programs. If we can just, make that very visible to folks so that they're not having to search for it, I think that would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. This is just to follow up on Councilmember Bonilla's questions because I wanted to also sort of, give you a chance to answer to some of the public comments. But just to be clear, on the scenario where he said he's paying 44, he's going to double to 88. Is that so? Can you answer that? Is that true? Is it going to keep going up exponentially like that?
So please keep in mind that in Hayward, the bills are bi-monthly. So it's, a bill is for 2 months. And if the usage that he has in the 2 months used to be $22 a month or $44 for 2 months, and if they go over to the standard level or above that, that monthly jumps up to $44 times 2 for 2 months is 88. That's what he's referring to.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so it sounds like maybe a little education along the way with the, also the access to the low-income application.
Absolutely.
Both things might be beneficial.
Be happy to do that.
Okay. Other than that, I don't see any way around us not approving this tonight, and so I'm going to be in support of the motion because we're going to do this or we're going to get sued, and we're trying to ease the burden as much as possible on the community where we can, and so unfortunately I don't see any way forward, so I will be supporting the motion.
Yeah, we haven't moved anything yet. Councilmember Andrews.
Forgive me again for commenting during questions. I'm normally better about that, but when we talk about sewers, I get excited, obviously. So I do have a question based off of some of the comments and questions earlier. So is the only way to access the program is low income based? Is there any other parameters that we could look at in terms of? So
on the sewer side, the economy and the lifeline, and by the way, I wish I had chosen a different name for them rather than lifeline and economy, because that conjures up income. It's not related to income. It's related to water use.
Water use.
Anyone in Hayward, regardless of income, that uses less water can benefit in that month or the 2 months from the lower rates. On the water side, we have a program for low income. Low income residents can benefit from much smaller water service charge, the fixed portion of the water usage. They can benefit from that if they qualify with their income.
Okay. And I understand that for years, we've been talking about how the state revolving fund and all these other funds have been dwindling, and a lot of the infrastructure money we are seeing, it's going to dwindle even more. But is there any advocacy that we can do that's for residents to do any advocacy to the state to show that the impacts of these rates are impacting them financially? Is there any programs that we could have them advocate for to respond to some of the increases we're seeing?
So currently there is no program right now, but there is movement afoot to reach out to legislators in Sacramento and see if there is something that they can do to ask the governor to make more funding available for us. These are extremely expensive projects, $11 billion for agencies that are around the Bay, and there is no funding that is available. We are borrowing 49% of the needs from the federal government at 4.7% interest rate, and the other 40% or so just from open market bonds at 4.5%. No low interest rate monies are available right now. That's what we've been told.
Yep. So similar to what we're seeing with insurance and with other utilities, we have seen the state kind of respond to some of the issues that are impacting residents, but we really need to see the residents advocate at the state level. So contact your state legislators, so your state senator, your assembly member, to let them know that the laws that the board are requiring us to follow is impacting the individual resident.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. And then I just had one more question. You mentioned that you were looking at different names, or possibly you might review a different name. Is this something that will come to Infrastructure Committee maybe in the future, or you're just going to leave it as is? For the
Be
end of the
happy to
program?
bring it to you. It
Okay.
would be like, full tier and tier 2, tier 1, something like that.
Okay.
That removes the connotation to income.
All right. I welcome that. Thank you.
I wasn't sure. Councilmember Goldstein, did you have your hand up? Yeah?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
The electronic button, is it working? No, I'm just looking at it. Oh, you are? Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your allowing me to speak. So if I'm hearing correctly, I think these requirements are really only affecting water treatment facilities on the bay. Is that correct?
Any estuary body of water, and San Francisco Bay, San Pablo Bay, are examples of that. But around the country, this has been going on for longer than it is here. Like in Boston and in the East Coast, I read something just very recently, earlier this week, about something happening in Florida, and the governor is being urged to take action.
Okay, all right, that makes a lot of sense. I just wasn't sure if this was just unique for the 9 counties or, elsewhere, but
Countrywide,
it makes
yes.
perfect sense that it's around the country. Do we have a program for helping homeowners to identify and resolve water efficiency uses? So leaking toilets, sprinkler systems, stuff like that. Do we have a program for
The
that?
city of Hayward was a pioneer to go from the standard meters, the so-called, dumb meters, to smart meters. So we have now the advanced metering infrastructure. City of Hayward was, if not the first, among the very first to implement this program. So our residents now have access to information on their phone when their usage goes above normal, or whatever it is that they set as normal. If they have a leak, if they have unexplained usage, they get alerted, and they can then take action or get in touch with us and ask us what is going on. That is our AMI.
What about for someone that's, lived here for, 30 some odd years, and maybe they're not aware that they're leaking somewhere or could get some better efficiency?
For those customers, if they have a leak, it is a legitimate water leak, not using more water during summertime, let's say, and they take action to fix that leak, we have a program to basically rebate some of their usage, excess usage, back to them. So there is that program that is available.
That's good. That's good to know. But to your knowledge, we don't actually have a program where somehow we're so like with PG&E, for example, they had a team that came out to my house and they did all kinds of patching ventilation. I'm not using the right word, but the energy efficiency program. They came in and they swapped out shower heads for lower flow than what I had on there already, a newer kind of.
We have similar
low flow.
programs. We do have similar programs. Not only shower heads are available free of charge to people that need them if they come to us and ask for them. Occasionally we have programs that we dispatch students or our workers there to their homes to install these devices for those who cannot do them themselves.
Okay, all right. Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right.
And they do that with light bulbs too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, the second round of questions, they were all great questions. But you see, Mr. Ramos, what happens when you're the mayor? You're forced to make the motion. Oh, Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we've discussed this topic a good amount, so I just wanted to add my own take to it. This dynamic of having residents pay for this massive water treatment project is related to the rising cost of college tuition, to our bridge tolls going up, to healthcare becoming more expensive. The phenomenon is called austerity, and it's when the government slashes spending and raises taxes on individuals. And in this case, our federal government, regardless of party, has been mismanaging our tax dollars, writing blank checks for missiles that destroy hospitals and schools while slashing spending on education and healthcare for our families, our workers, our veterans, and causing our own schools and hospitals to close here at home. So while I understand why we as a city need to pass this rate change, I also want to be clear that making working families like our Hayward residents foot the bill for this project and projects of this scale is unfair and unnecessary, and we are being forced into this position because the cost of not complying would cost our city more and would be fiscally irresponsible of us. On a lighter note, I want to say that I'm glad that even with these increases, our rates are still more affordable relative to neighboring cities. I'd also like to thank the residents that are here tonight and that have raised concerns with me in private and appreciate them understanding the position that we're in. Like Councilmember Roach said, there's really no way around this, and I will also be supporting this motion. Thank you.
Well, there was a lot of... Mr. City Attorney, I'll move. Moved by Mayor Salinas, second by Councilmember Zermeño. And I don't see any other questions. Great remarks, everybody. And Madam City Clerk, we can take roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll go ahead and Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Begrudgingly, aye.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Roach. Aye. Councilmember Sarup.
Yes.
Councilmember Zermeño.
Sí.
Mayor Salinas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item unanimously passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Director Mary, thank you. And to your colleagues, thank you very much for your work on this. Really appreciate it. Next item is purely a informational item. There is no staff report. If there is a brief comment on this, that'd be appreciated. Item number 9 is informational report, fiscal year, quarter 1 and quarter 2, semi-annual capital improvement program progress report. There's no presentation, no discussion, no public comment, no action. Madam City Manager, any comment on this?
We don't have any comments. This is information that you had asked us to bring to you, and we have done so. And every time you ask for improvement, we appreciate it. We have implemented the completion status of these projects. And if you have any questions to ask us, we'll be happy to research and come back before you. Thank you.
Yes. Councilmember Syrup and then Councilmember Andrews.
I'll go after Councilmember Andrews.
Okay.
Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, I just had a couple of questions regarding active projects. So access control, when do we think that will ramp back up? Since it says target completion date, so are we still, is it ongoing right now?
That's ongoing right now.
Okay.
And I can check with the Maintenance Services Department and come back before you.
Okay, great. And then also, I know that there is some updates regarding decorative crosswalks. I wanted to make sure that it says 0% completion, but I think, are we actually looking at doing another crosswalk somewhere?
We are.
Somewhere new. Okay.
We are, as we are working on more of the downtown street improvements.
Okay.
we can incorporate those features.
Okay, great. And just making sure we're highlighting that is for pedestrian safety, not
Absolutely.
just. Okay, great. And then there was another one that I wanted to ensure we talked about. The Stack Center. I see that it has 3 phases, but I've only really heard us talk about phase 1 and phase 2. And can someone please remind me what the 3rd phase is? Because I didn't see it in here.
Phase 3 is the expansion.
Is the actual expansion?
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
so can you break it? Because I was thinking phase 2 is expansion. So can you remind me what phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 is?
So phase 1 was fixing of the existing structure that was there.
Okay.
Phase 2 was adding to it. Phase 3 is the
Is the actual
complete.
expansion.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Thank you
larger
for
project.
clarifying because I only saw those 2. Okay, great. And then there was one other that I was looking at. Oh, the locker room. So we're at 20% design or 75% complete design, and then we have June 28. And I just wanted. Oh no, sorry. It says TBD locker room construction. Do you know when we will get an update, or do we have an idea on the actual
Yes,
construction?
I do. The design is 100% done.
Okay, great.
And we will be scheduling the project to come before you for the approval of plans and specs and call for bids.
Okay, and actually one more. And in La Vista Park, is that also being discussed in HLAC, given that HARD is involved with that project? I just want to make sure that it's being reviewed at that committee since there are 3 entities there, and I don't know if it's only being discussed
We've
there.
been very much in conversation and discussion cooperation with HART, and we have gotten their approval of the park. We entered into an MOU with them that took some time to implement. We very much appreciate their partnership, and we are ready to call for bids on that project too.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And to answer as the HLAC rep, as one of the HLAC reps, I know that we have talked about it, and we will be agendizing it to talk more further about it. So, yeah.
Mayor, I think it's up
Yes. Yeah, Councilmember Syra.
Thank you. Just to piggyback on that topic, I believe HARD had it agendized tonight for them to approve a revised La Vista Park budget. So I just wanted to flag that for your knowledge to help incorporate into your upcoming meeting. Not that it would have happened already, but just to give you a heads up on some new information. Otherwise, the only other comment I wanted to make is whenever this item comes to the council, I always recommend folks engage with it because this is where you really see your tax dollars at work. I mean, this is a really comprehensive list of all the amazing stuff that Measure C funding and our general fund and our capital improvement fund goes towards creating and making our city a more livable place, a more enjoyable place to be. So I just want to commend you and the team that you help oversee for all the great work that you're doing around the city.
Thank you.
So in other words, this is a good news list. Yeah. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. And thank you to Councilmember Andrews. She asked a few of the questions I had about La Vista, the Stack Center, and the HPD locker rooms. So I will go, my next level of questions. The safe routes for seniors, I think most of that's been done. But I have asked, and I really want to put back on the list, I think we need an on-call flashing crosswalk for Russell and 2nd Street, because we have Morningstar over there, the senior center, and now the Bolera is going to be coming on, a new senior center, and I've heard from staff there that they have to go out and sort of wave traffic down because it's hard for seniors to get over quick enough. So I'd ask you to look at that, just putting in, I'm just looking for an on-call flashing, I don't know what those are called.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely,
But I think, as soon as that Bolera gets, filled up, I think that's going to become even more important there.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the other one I wanted to ask about is the pilot projects on Orchard Avenue and Carlos B.
Yes.
I know, there's been a lot of community comments about that. And I'm just wondering what, so once these pilot projects end, if there's a lot of voice concern, do we just pull it all out? Or what will be the tipping point to have those stay or go? And one of the ones in particular we've heard a ton about, or I've seen a lot online and people have called me about, is that left turn lane from Orchard going north on Mission. We closed off a left turn lane there, and it doesn't make sense. And I just wonder what's being done with that.
So the reason that we call it a pilot project and it is not concrete in place and it is just striping and such, is basically to hear those comments and to see the experiences and so on. We can adjust things, we can tweak things before the project is finalized and put in place with concrete and, you know, the ultimate configuration. We have heard from our residents that they say it takes them longer now to go from the Hill area to Jackson through Orchard. Well, that was part of the plan to slow down some of the traffic there. But there are a lot of legitimate comments as well, and we are looking into incorporating them before the final design goes in.
Okay. And the other question I had was, you know, sometimes there are the tall, skinny, I don't know what they're called. And then I noticed on the Carlos B side, it's the shorter, stumpier white ones. I can see how those are so hard to see, especially if you have a tall car. I'm wondering why the difference in those two items.
They are different design. Those are the kinds that we are using for Campus Drive too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But those ones are green. They're a little bit easier to see than the white ones, I think.
Okay, I'll make a note of it. And
no, that's my anecdotal observation, so don't take my
you.
word for it. I'm sure there's studies on this, but that's...
All right.
I just noticed one was, you know, there were several that were hit already, and so I'm just wondering if it's a site problem there. The other one I wanted to add was, and I think I brought this up before, there's sort of this hazardous intersection at E Street and East Avenue, and I heard from neighbors on that one as you're coming from sort of, say, the Hayward High side down into East Avenue. There's no stop sign there, and I've personally experienced that in a near miss, and I just wonder if you can look at that one as well.
Will do.
And then I wanted to ask about the Mission Boulevard frontage island improvements. Is that the piece where the current improvements end before you get to Union City?
That's what it is.
Okay.
And we are working with Caltrans, and we are publicly commenting right now, so I don't. They are not very, very easy, super easy to work with.
Okay.
And that's what we are doing right now, working with them to see what's reasonable with the space that we have there, and find a solution that is practical.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And then where are we on the conceptual design for the Public Safety Center?
We have talked to, we have received proposals. We have interviewed 7 consultants. We have decided to talk to the 3 top ones, and one of them is scheduled this week, the other 2 next week, so that we can go ahead and select one.
When any timing and when we might, and is that just to get a design concept?
This is to look at a couple of different sites and come up with a conceptual design and see which site makes more sense, whether it is on Mission, on Winton, or on Foothill, where the old City Hall used to be. Okay. And then once that is decided, we can go ahead with the final design and construction.
Okay, thank you. And then my final question is about the recycled water plan. I'm just wondering, you know, if we went to a next phase of that, how far out would that go from the current infrastructure? And is there even a funding mechanism for that? Is that just a hope at this point?
So the next step for us is to do a master plan for recycled water to see what makes sense. And at that point, when we have that, we pursue funding like grants and such, which we used in part for phase 1 to go ahead and expand it. There are monies available for recycled water usage as opposed to this nutrients management.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions. Thank you for bringing this, and I agree with Councilmember Sire. It's amazing when you look at the list of, there's so many detailed technical things happening in the city that need to get done on top of the, the beautiful things we like to see getting done. So It's really great to see it in one list. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Zermeño.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Eric, especially for the report and for this long list of materials. I am very glad that we are doing more bicycle paths and safer corners for pedestrians. Although I do receive a lot of emails about people being upset that there's less driving lanes and more bicycle material. Mm-hmm. And I commend you on your encyclopedic knowledge of every one of these items and projects. I am truly amazed, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I will close this item. Oh, Councilmember Goldstein.
Thank you. So thank you to my colleagues for asking such great questions on all of these projects, and thank you, Director Amiri, for coming up with the list. And, you know, it is exciting, like Councilman Syrop mentioned, this is your tax dollars at work, and it's exciting not only to see that we have so much going on, but be able to report back to our constituents what a great job our city is doing for them. One of the things that gets called to my attention fairly frequently is the loop, and I noticed that the loop project is on this list, and it says a projected completion of 2028. Does that mean that all of the different steps to having a redesign completed, or just the analysis part?
Just the analysis, conceptual design, and then pursuing funding to redo the work that was done in 2014. I just want to mention, though, that we are doing some incremental changes to the loop that I'm sure you're going to like. We are going to bring before you. We are reducing some of the lanes on Mission, adding parking, which has been very much appreciated by businesses there, and it's going to reduce the speed of commuters that in the morning come through Hayward, and this is basically the traffic that goes through Hayward as opposed to being generated in Hayward. So that is going to happen soon.
Good, very, very good to hear that. And I hope along those lines, slowing the traffic down, but also making it flow smoother.
Yes.
So hitting a stoplight at every block is aggravating, and what that does to other drivers that are on the road is it antagonizes them, so that when they see an opening, they start doing that whole Mario Kart thing, and that just really just blows everybody. I mean, it's just so aggravating. So if there's a way to slow it down, but reward drivers for observing the speed limit and let them pass through. I mean, if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do, right? So if there's a way to accomplish that, I hope that'll be part of the plan as well.
There is a way, and we have implemented projects already on Jackson. You probably have noticed that traffic flows a little smoother now on Jackson, and there are similar projects that we are going to be doing on Winton Avenue and also Tennyson. Those two are next for us to synchronize the lights and do that.
Right, and I did see that, but I didn't see anything for that stretch of Mission.
We'll have to take a look and see what we need to do there.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
I appreciate that. And then there was one item on here that I had no idea what it was about. I'm just wondering, root foaming?
That is when roots enter sewer lines and cause a problem. So there is a project to remove the roots, but in order to discourage their rapid growth afterwards, there is a foam that is injected inside the sewer line to basically kill the roots that have entered the sewer mains. And that's the root foaming that we do on an annual basis.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Syrop.
I just wanted to piggyback off of Councilmember Goldstein's comment around the signals. I know that your department had been hiring for a signal technician or an additional signal technician for a while to help speed up that process of reconfiguring timing on lights. Have you been successful in that hiring process?
Today, we found someone that is recommended to be hired, and we are very, very excited about it. He's qualified, he's good. He'll be a good addition to what we have.
Great. That was not a setup. That is fantastic news. And similarly, as you're looking at Winton, I've received a number of complaints around before it becomes Winton and it's still D Street, the Mission D Street intersection close to Hayward Heritage, and the other side of the park where you're still on D Street. I believe that's Watkins, if I'm not mistaken. those two lights seem to hold quite long.
Right.
And so as you're looking at Winton, maybe incorporating that as part of the work plan since it's all on the same street.
Sure, yes.
Thank you.
Great. I was gonna wait to say this on my reports, but given some of the comments regarding, some of the traffic calming work that's been done throughout all the city, I did want to, sort of jokes aside, I did want to comment seriously regarding the traffic calming pilots and the work you guys have done on Hesperian, on Tennyson, between Hesperian and Industrial, Orchard, Carlos B. I forget, there was another, where?
Is it Huntwood?
Portsmouth over by Mount Eden. And, over the last couple of months, I have been getting, people have been pulling me aside when I'm out and about. And, mixed reviews and mixed opinions about it, some good, some not good. But I want to direct everyone's attention of just what has happened in the city in the last, 2 weeks. Within about 7 days, I think, we have had 2 incredibly serious hit and runs. Both of them ended up in deaths. One, we did catch the driver. The second one, the driver is still at large, and we have not apprehended him or them, whoever they are. And the reason why we are doing this is because we're trying to slow people down. And if it takes a minute or two more to get past Orchard, or a minute or two more to get through Tennyson or Portsmouth or so forth, then I think that's okay. I don't think, just hypothetically speaking, I don't think if we had the same road diet, measure or implements on Calaroga and Tennyson, I don't think that car would have been able to hit over 80 miles an hour down that street and then ultimately hit and kill a young woman walking to work. And both victims were in crosswalks. They were in crosswalks. And so, when people are online, bad mouthing us online, when people are talking about us on their social media platforms, my response to them is, look what happened a couple of weeks ago. And what we are trying to do is trying to slow people down. That's all we're trying to do. And, it's tedious work, it's trial work, but my ask of the public is give us a little grace. Give us a little grace. Give staff a little grace. Let us do what we need to do. Let Public Works do what they're experts in do. And in the process, maybe we won't have what has happened over the last week and a half happen again. The 2 victims, their stories will certainly unfold in the coming days and weeks. But what has happened is absolutely reckless, and it should not have happened. Absolutely should not have happened. So I appreciate all your comments, all of the work your team is doing. Mr. Mary, thank you very much. And it is going with notice for sure.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so I'd like to close that, move on to council reports and announcements. And this weekend is a big weekend for Council Member Angela Andrews, and I bet she has an announcement.
I think you know what it is, Mayor. It is Keep Hayward Clean and Green. We are going to be at Rancho Arroyo Park, 2121 Depot, starting at 8 a.m., so be there. You're not square, so be square. Just be there.
Be there or be square. Okay, wonderful. Seeing no other questions or seeing no other reports or announcements, I'll move on to council referrals. There are no council referrals, and I had promised the council we'd be out of here by 8:30. I'm about 40 minutes past. So, ladies and gentlemen, meeting's adjourned.